Good day, everyone. My name is Brian Sturdivant, and I am the fire chief here in the city of Battle Creek. And I'd like to provide you with an overview of our organization and give you some background information on what we do and how we do it. I'd first like to start by giving you some information on myself. I've been the fire chief here now for a couple years. I was appointed in September of 2018. I do have quite a bit of extensive fire service administration operations experience. Prior to being appointed here in Battle Creek, I served as a chief officer in Atlanta, Georgia for about 20 years, Scottsdale, Arizona for 5 years, Milpitas, California, outside of San Jose for about 5 years, and in Petersburg, Virginia, outside of Richmond for about 5 years. I was born and raised here in Battle Creek, so it is an honor to actually come back home and provide a level of public safety that I've been able to move forward with in my career across the country. I have a master's degree from the Homeland Security Center at the Naval Postgraduate School. I have an undergraduate degree in public safety administration and a 2-year degree in business administration. I also am a certified public manager and a certified chief fire officer as a designee from the Center for Public Safety Excellence. I've studied at Harvard and graduated in the senior executive in state and local government program. So I am very, very proud of my formal education, professional development, and the levels of experience that I bring here to Battle Creek. I'm looking very forward to working with you as we continue to move the public safety agenda forward for our community. Right now, our organization is budgeted for 80.5 FTEs, full-time equivalents, and we have an overall operations and administrative budget of about $11 million. We have 77 members that work in operations, which means they work 24 on, 48 hours off across 3 shifts and our 5 firehouses. We have a firehouse number 2 on Washington Avenue. We have a firehouse number 3 on Cliff Street over in the Post area. We have a firehouse number 4 on 20th Street in the Lakeview District. We have a firehouse number 5 on Michigan Avenue in Urbandale, and firehouse number 6 is on Capitol Avenue there in the 95 corridor on the south side of the city. Station 1 is where our administrative houses and our administrative offices are housed, and we are right next door to the county courthouse here on Michigan Avenue. Like I stated, we have 3 shifts, A, B, and a C shift. Each of those 3 shifts are supervised by a battalion chief, which is a direct report to my office, and they actually supervise the operations and some of the administrative functions that take place in the city and the stations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So we are continually on duty with crews that can respond to the needs of emergencies within the community, and also to assist with some of our other programs that we have as we continue to work on ensuring that Battle Creek is a fire-safe community. Our current insurance services office rating is a 3. And for those of you that may not be aware, our ISO rating is tied into the premiums that the business community will pay for fire protection in our city. We do have an additional peer assessment for ISO that will be taking place hopefully in the spring of 2021, but that is going to be driven by where we may be within this current pandemic. So we are looking to work diligently on reducing that ISO rating from a 3 to a 2. The lower the rating, the better the classification is as it relates to the community. So we have that as a target moving forward so that, as stated, we can continue to push the fire safe community in the city of Battle Creek. Some of the operational things that we have in place right now include our fire and EMS response, which takes up the bulk of our emergency services delivery calls. As a matter of fact, about 65–70% of our call volume is emergency medical related. Of course, we've seen some uptick in that call volume in the midst of this pandemic, but we are situated very well with our partnership with Life Care Ambulance to provide that EMS service throughout our community. Over the course of the last year, our call volumes in totality range anywhere from 7,500 to 7,800 calls per year. So for us to be a smaller community, we do have a relatively busy system that is in place. Some of our special operations include membership with the 5th District, State of Michigan, technical response, and that includes our hazardous material teams, and it includes our technical rescue teams. Both of those teams are specialized not only to provide that level of capability to our community, but also if there is a need throughout the state, they may very well be called out for that level of response and deployment. There is quite a bit of specialized training that goes into ensuring that the members on those two specialty teams have the requisite knowledge, skills, and ability and certification to serve our community and to serve as a resource throughout the state of Michigan, especially within the 5th District, which is the district that we reside in here in Southwest Michigan. There are numerous training opportunities that we look to take advantage of, not only relative to fire and EMS, but also with our specialty teams, because our training is what dictates the capability of response that we provide to the community. And as we like to say here on the fire department, we train as if our lives depend on it, because at the end of the day, they very well could depend on the level of training. We want that training to be more about muscle memory and instinct as opposed to having to stop and think. So therefore, repetition is very important with what we do here on the fire department. Currently, our goal is to ensure the safety and the well-being of our members as it relates to what's taking place within this current pandemic. We always want to provide services as a resource and an asset to whatever the situation dictates. Therefore, it is imperative that we are well prepared, well trained, well equipped with the level of emotional intelligence and the level of specific capability relative to the task. We want to bring that to the table so that we can provide that asset to the community in the event it is needed. Another goal that we're focusing on as we move into the new year and the upcoming fiscal year, we've had a rash of arsons in our community, and that's not atypical from any other community. Our fire marshal has been very diligent, very busy with the investigative process relative to this level of arson that we see in our community. I am currently working with the city manager's office, some of our nonprofits, to identify how the Battle Creek Fire Department can put together a reward process such as Silent Observer that would be targeted specifically to the arsons that are taking place in our community. Right now, it is a very significant concern for me. We expend quite a few resources with the investigation, which includes local resources working with our police counterparts, but it also could expand to the state level because the state of Michigan has the accelerant canines that we also utilize quite often to determine if an accelerant has been used in a possible arson investigation. So what we're looking to do is to develop some level of return on investment of the man hours and the resources that are tied into the arson investigations, so that we can begin to send the message throughout our community that we take this very, very serious. We've identified persons of interest. We may be moving forward with any levels of an arrest that could possibly lead to conviction. And I think once that message begins to reverberate throughout the community, we may be in a better position to get a handle on what's taking place with some of the multiple arsons that are occurring in our community. I'm very, very concerned about this, and we're just looking to be as creative as we can as it relates to what we possibly can do in this regard. As it relates to our staff, we've got some of the best firefighters in the country. I would measure them against anywhere else that I've worked, and I stand by that. Our folks are well trained, they're engaged, they don't mind expanding the knowledge and the capabilities that will help them be in a better position to protect themselves, protect each other, which in turn protects our community. And I'm very, very proud of that level of capability. The 3 battalion chiefs that reside over and provide supervisory oversight of the 3 shifts, they are all well educated. They have different varying degrees of experience, and all of that works very, very well as it relates to our deployment and the level of protection we provide for the community. Right now, I'm very, very pleased to speak to the fact that we have very positive labor management processes in place. I look to meet with the executive board of our bargaining unit on a regular basis, which typically is about once a month, just to ensure that thoughts from their perspective related to our members, related to where the department is heading, related to any facet of our organization, that it's communicated not only vertically, but also horizontally throughout the organization, so that we can look to address issues and get in front of them before issues become problems and problems become challenges, and things just tend to grow as opposed to dissipate. And we take a lot of pride in trying to stay in front of situations so that we can avoid them being compounded downstream. So I really have a very participative type of management style, open door policy, open door process for anything. Any of our members can always call, email, text me, or come see me to talk about things that may be on their mind. And we'll look to collaborate and come up with some solid processes to ensure that we're looking to do the right things, looking to do things the right way, keeping folks engaged and safe, and just looking to really provide Battle Creek with the level of fire and EMS protection that it deserves. As stated, I was born and raised here in the city. Still have a lot of ties that go back a number of years, family members here. So I take this very personal, and I share this with our members on how we can continue the tradition of great fire EMS protection and special operations deployment and response for the community of Battle Creek. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. Once we move forward through the remainder of this calendar year and begin thinking about the strategic level of oversight for the upcoming calendar year and fiscal year, I would recommend that you reach out to me at any given point in time for any questions that you may have, any other thoughts or insight or recommendations that you may have, because I take pride in being very, very collaborative. Even with my multiple years of experience and service in the fire organizations, I don't pretend to have all the answers. And all of us working together provides a much better response and framework than any one of us trying to capture all and everything and figure out all of the challenges and provide answers to those challenges. So thank you for taking the time. Wish everyone well. And as stated previously, I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you.